some people getting in here, but go ahead, bro.
Yeah,
Tell
I
me,
mean,
Larry.
I like the finale to a certain degree because they did explain a lot, but I felt like they explained too much. Like they were just going and just giving this big explanatory scene, and I really feel like they should have given this show probably 2 more episodes at least.
So
I
you
feel
you
like
would have been fine. You would have been fine if they done what they did, but made it 2 more episodes.
Yeah, like I feel like the this whole thing sitting down with Kang and what we're assuming is Kang, they
It's
didn't actually
Kang.
call him that,
No,
but
they didn't need to call him that. He's in a different multiverse, but it's Kang.
but it's sort of like he sat there and just laid out all of it, everything out, and I'm thinking like they could have just sort of given us 2 more episodes and did a little less direct explaining. Not to mention, it was like they ended episode 5 with them with Sylvie, enchanting the what do you call that thing again?
The
The,
Eliath.
the Eliath. She enchanted the Eliath, and then it was like they just cut to them basically kicking down the door, waving the 4-4 on Kang, and I'm like, they could have done something more with that. Like the whole leaving, the whole leaving this sort of, I don't know what I don't even know what they call that area where you get sent to after you've been pruned, you know,
The Void.
the void.
Void.
It's like they could have done something more with that, with them leaving, or they could have done something more while they were in the void, and you had all these Lokis, and it just felt like it wasted opportunity for that. It seems like they just do too much explanation right quick, and I just didn't feel like they gave Loki the 2 Lokis enough resolution before they finally went about their own ways. I don't know. I liked the episode. There was some stuff in there I definitely liked, but I feel like they've left it open in such a way that moving forward things could really go south in either direction, because they can either take it real comic book nerd in the weeds, total comic book geekish stuff, which would be great for all the comic book fans and would probably totally isolate their core audience, because their core audience now is not the comic book geeks. Their core audience is the casual viewer.
What?
Their core,
wait,
yeah.
Larry, I gotta stop you, man. You're too smart for this. The core audience for a comic is never going to be a casual fan. It's going to always be the comic geek. They spread their wings and went outward to get the casual fan, who is probably now hooked on the comics and come watch us to explain what's happening. They don't realize it now. They think they damn comic aficionados.
See, I hear you, and I want to agree, but when you look at the numbers, when you look at how many people are watching these shows and these movies, it's not that many comic book geeks out there that are watching all these shows. It is a much broader audience of people that are watching. And I think the core audience now has moved from the comic book geeks to just the casual viewers. And I think that they're going to have this problem of, do we go with the straight comic book stuff and make the comic book people happy and keep it true and authentic to the comics, and then we lose some of these people because it's too in the weeds? Or do we go and sort of stray from the comics and give the casual viewer more of maybe what they expect and what they want, but it veers away from what the comic books have, and then the comic book geeks are upset?
Man, where you getting your information from? Because I need to review it.
I'm just pontificating, man. It's not info. I'm just pontificating what I think could happen.
Your boy hangs out. Your boy, me, the nerd. Your boy hangs out in toy shops, in comic book selling stores all across North Carolina, and every geek in there is talking about Marvel. Everyone.
I agree. I think you guys are loving this show. I love this show. I have my local comic book shop I go down to. I love this show. I love what Marvel is doing. But I think that we are no longer Marvel's core audience. I think Marvel's core audience is the casual viewer.
No way. No way. As Bret the Hitman Hart used to say, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. No comic entity is going to ever go away from their core fan. Never, ever, not now, never in the future. It'll never happen, Larry.
I'm hoping you're right. And I don't say this because I want to see something bad or see them stray. I hope you're right. But unfortunately, I think that the core audience of Marvel at this point for their TV shows and movies is the more casual audience. And I think they left the multiverse open and so broad where anything can happen, because I think they want to give themselves the opportunity to stray away from the comics and go in a direction that the casual viewer might be happier with. And then they can come back and say to the comic book geeks, hey, we left the thing open. We left the multiverse open with all kinds of possibilities so that, anything's happened. So even though it may have not happened in books, it still could happen because the movies and the TV shows are a little bit different. I think they gave themselves wiggle room so that they could come back and refute the comic book geeks when they decide to stray.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Larry from the 616. This ain't 613, Larry. This is definitely your 616, who always come up here with these hot takes that sometimes be lukewarm. And look who we got in the building. It's the big homie One Take. How you doing, my brother One Take? And I got to get you in on this conversation, my brother. I got to get you in because my man Larry is tripping right now. Do you feel like the way they ended this is trying to divert from the comic book geek to the casual fan, or are you in my camp where the comic book geek is going to always be the base of Marvel?
Yeah, that's my take. I mean, Larry called me a Loki today, so I don't know where his mind at today. I don't know where his mind at today.
He called you a Loki. What? What?
So I figured Larry was gonna have some kind of crazy take today. So.
Lord, he gonna call One Take. God, so be more careful, man.
I'm saying, y'all didn't see him. You didn't see him in the void.
No, I ain't see him in the void. No,
see, One Take act like he's up there trying to act like he wasn't there. He's trying to be slick. I saw him in the void. Okay. If you look just behind the alligator, you'll see him. He was back there. He was back there eating some chips.
So he wasn't back there holding a hammer. He was back there eating chips.
He was back there eating chips and doing dishes.
Let me shout out the people so we can go ahead and deep dive into this thing. Shout out to Movie Files, ladies and gentlemen. This good brother we had on last week. Link is in my video description. He's putting together some great content. And of course, subscribe to Larry and One Take. They come up here often. But we also got Chase in the building, Carborough, Cleve, Tia Bryant. Assalamu alaikum is what I'm going to call you. Assalamu Way Live, Muchella, Zell Latrice, who Moochie's in the building, Monique's in the building, Steve Augustine is in the building. Man, y'all turned out for Marvel. Can we get a like for all the people in the building? Let's get a like. John Doe in the building. Buzz 703 is in the building.
I love
Fellas, we're here to talk that finale, man. Larry, my comics is picking up, man. We might be able to drop some of that Tyler Perry shit real soon and just be talking about the MCU and the DC universe, man, because we picking up on these comics. So
I like it, man. I love it.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get the opening scene started. So I picked this out because me and Larry was discussing. I think One Take agreed with me on B. Avery's channel too. We seen the full heel turn to a face by Loki in this episode. And this is the clip where I think it happened. We'll debate it out after we watch it. So take a look, fellas, and the audience out there watching.
He's a liar, Loki.
So am I. And I don't think he was lying. Not about that. Insane? Yes. But maybe he was telling the truth.
Better hurry. Timeline's already branching.
So what are you suggesting?
I'm just suggesting we think about it.
And what precisely is there to think about?
Are you listening to what he was saying? That's the gambit. Remove the dictator and what fills the void.
You want the throne.
No. That's not it, no.
I don't believe you.
Silver, the universe isn't about everything we know to be true. But what if by taking him out, we risk unleashing something even worse? All I'm suggesting is we just take a minute to think about it. Can't you see? This is bigger than our experience.
Why aren't we seeing this the same way?
Because you can't trust. And I can't be trusted.
One take, I'm gonna come to you first. Was that the heel turn to a face of Loki?
First of all, I love the wrestling reference. By the way, I'm a big wrestling fan.
Hey man, you see that? Let's get a good look at that. I'm the heavyweight champ, baby.
I love the wrestling reference. Yeah, I think this was that moment right here. It kind of felt It kind of felt let me see. What was that? WrestleMania, I want to say 13, Austin, Bret Hart. It was a double turn.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like that because, like, at some point, you pretty much like you on board with Sylvia, right? You know what I'm saying? So like initially she was a face. You kind of like, especially what the TVA had done to her, and then of course Loki was introduced as this villain, and then like we have this switch because like Loki's looking more out for like the world. I mean, we're not even just the world, like the entire multiverse in itself. And Sylvia's kind of like on this selfish tilt where she just like, nah, I don't care about none of that. I'm not trying to listen to reason or anything. So yeah, I definitely think that definitely was the moment Loki turned into a babyface.
Yeah, man. Big Larry, jump on in there. Talk about your boy Loki. And I mean, Larry, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, Larry. Now that we've got all these multiverses, you know we're going to have a super good Killmonger. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
First of all, we should all understand that Killmonger was always super good. Killmonger has always been a hero. Killmonger was always the righteous ruler of Wakanda.
Is Killmonger on your most wanted shirt?
Nah, he's not on here because he's not a villain.
Yeah, he's not up there because he's a potato cake. That's
he's
why
he's not on here because he's not a villain.
Larry,
he's a hero.
Look at the villains on your shirt. Thanos, Venom, Hela, Loki's daughter. Oh man, he don't belong on that shirt in the first place.
Red Skull.
But go ahead, brother. Answer the question.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, I think Loki had made the turn beforehand.
Okay.
Because for the last several episodes, he had been talking about, taking down the TVA and giving people back their free will, and I feel like for the last several episodes, he's been thinking about other people and putting them ahead of himself. And I feel like when he started putting Sylvia ahead of himself, it was really just that much more evident. And here we see it, and we see it really where he just plainly says it. He's like, no, I'm not here for the throne. I just want to make sure you're good, And, but I think at the same time, like, I know people online been saying, oh, Sylvie betrayed him and this, but I don't really feel like she betrayed him. Sylvie said, she's been very, very honest. She said, this is what I am here to do. This is my goal. And I'm going to go forth and I'm going to complete my goal. If you get in my way, then I'll just move you out of my way. She didn't kill Loki. She just moved him out of the way. And, and so I think Sylvie's been very, very honest. And we have to remember, too, that Loki was taken after the Battle of New York. So Loki's like, he's barely been a variant. He hasn't been a variant very long. Sylvie was snatched up from her family when she was like 8-9 years old. And she's been running around for God knows how many decades, fighting the TVA and pruning people and all kinds of stuff, trying to get to them. So first of all, she started this journey with a whole other mindset because she was snatched as a kid. I can only imagine the things that this young child had to do to survive back then as a young girl. And so she's not in the same headspace when it comes to the TVA. Loki has more altruistic sort of, I want to be the good guy sort of stuff where I'm going to try and restore everybody's goodwill. And she's like, basically, F these mother effers. I'm trying to destroy them,
Good point.
All right. Well, let's get into this, fellas. First of all, everybody go vote for my homegirl, Lydia Laws. You got one more day. All she needs is votes, and she wins $20K to be Miss Fitness on the magazine. They started out with this episode for all time, always. Now, I guess by now some of you guys know this was synonymous with basically what Kang was saying. He was there for all times, always trying to protect the timeline. and they get us entered into the story with the new. You heard voices from all the previous Marvel movies, some of the other properties. You even heard, they even had some people in there talking. I just thought it was so good the way they did the intro. I'll come to you, Larry. Did you like this intro? And did you like the way they spun the Marvel logo with all the different voices and all the actions from the clip? I even heard of Wakanda Forever.
I did. I heard that. The Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I thought that was dope. The intro was really, really good. They have done a pretty good job, I think, with all of these series, making them better as they go. I feel like WandaVision was fantastic. And WandaVision was fantastic. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier, even though it wasn't as groundbreaking as WandaVision, because I think with WandaVision, no one really knew what to expect. So it was just that much more exciting when it so as it sort of unveiled itself. But Falcon and Winter Soldier just kept getting, it started off sort of, and then it just kept getting better at like the second half of the series. And then Loki, I feel like it started off strong and it stayed pretty strong. There were a couple of episodes in there that were sort of mediocre, but they were mediocre because the rest of the show was so good. If any episode from this series was put in, say, Falcon and Winter Soldier, it would have been the best episode of that series,
Okay.
So, but the intro was dope.
So, one take, what'd you think about this branding? This is what they named the episode, but it was also kind of the credo for Kang, or excuse me, let me call him Immortus since he didn't say Kang yet. And then just the Marvel intro where you heard lines from all the classic movies.
Okay, so I'm watching this at, I think it was like 4 in the morning. I tried to stay up and catch it at 2. I took a nap and then I had to wake back up. I'm like, I know I have to watch this. I knew I was gonna have to watch the episode twice. So I'm up 4 o'clock in the morning, barely, But when I started hearing what they were saying, I'm like, okay, this is different. I'm like, why are they doing this in particular? I'm trying to listen in for every single voice, maybe thinking like this may have some kind of significance, but I just thought it was like intriguing the way that they chose to do it. Now, going back to the TVA sign now and how that affected the rest of the episode, I didn't think too much of it. I didn't think too much of it. Then once we get later on to the episode and when we get introduced to Jonathan Major's character, I keep forgetting his name. Lamar, you got to remind me. But
Immortus.
Then when I go back, Immortus. When I go back and watch the episode the second time, then I look at the significance of the whole new, what is it, logo? I guess we could say logo. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a request, and I'm like a genie. You rub my forehead and I'll make things come true. The brother or sister loves our shirt game and he wants us to stand up so he can see the full shirt game. Now, I just go and tell you where I got mine from. There ain't no shame in my game, brother, man. I got this after the movie from TJ Maxx for $5. Now, the hat, on the other hand, that's custom.
You got a hoodie for $5?
I got $5 for TJ Maxx. Yeah, but this is after the movie, though. You know what I mean? So it's cheap.
Right.
So yeah. Age of Ultron. But the real nice thing is this custom hat. This hat is custom. Marvel sent this to me. This is a Marvel request. Your turn, Larry. Let the people see what you're rocking with. And one take got on the Secret Wars joint.
Yeah, man, this is the Marvel's Most Wanted. It's a list of the villains down there at the bottom. So, you have them all. And I got this off Amazon.
And Loki is up there, Red Skull.
Loki's down there.
Loki's beside his daughter. Because technically Hela's really his daughter, but they bent it in the MCU. Thanos is up there. Hobgoblin is up there. Dormammu is up there. Venom and Carnage. No sign of Killmonger because he's a potato cake. Compared to those guys.
You know why Killmonger's not on there? Because he's not a villain.
Okay, we're going. Well,
Killmonger is the rightful ruler of Wakanda. Get that.
So yeah, I don't know where I got
this. He just killed it.
And listen, I'm gonna pretend like I've actually read this comic, but I think I got it from like Dillard's or something. It was, or it might be JC Penney somewhere. It was like $12. I was like, yeah.
I
was waiting to wear it today. I was waiting to wear it today.
Hey, look, now when you start talking about Secret Wars, that's really when you start getting into the Beyonder and some of them other stories. And I predicted that maybe it was going to be a Loki pulling the strings by Beyonder, and I'm glad it wasn't, because like we said, we're not ready for all that. We're not ready for all those guys, not yet, but we're going to see them. We definitely about to see them. So I'm going to come your way one take. Man, we talked a little bit about this on B. Avery's show. Talk about the cinematography, the photos. They opened this thing with supernovas blowing up, showing how the universe is created, how it's destroyed, going through timelines. Just talk about the beauty of everything in this episode.
These shots were gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But I think that hit for me the most is slightly after this. And it's after we go into all these different places, and we see Loki and Sylvie standing outside the Citadel.
I got you.
Oh man, the way the camera pans up at those two, I thought that was just phenomenal. Oh yeah.
Oh, you can keep talking. You can keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, it was one of those shots where you just look at it and you know, like, yeah, this can go on somebody's wall. This is probably going. You look at it, you're like, yeah, this is probably gonna be the thumbnail of my video. Okay, like it just looks great. And it's standing like those two standing side by side. All the stuff that they've done is coming to an end now. They about to face down. They don't know who's in this Citadel. They don't know what to expect, but they're ready. And just like the background behind the Citadel, seeing the sacred timeline, and then it's not even that. It's like the rainbow colors that seem to be falling down above it. Like, that shot was beautiful.
Yeah,
Larry, jump on in there. You are the photo kind of cinematography guy. What did you think about the way Marvel handled this for a miniseries?
I mean, it was fantastic. It was. I think they've done a really great job with all of them. I think this one was really, really well shot, and a lot of this. I mean, it's interesting because the first series was very much like done like a sitcom, like it was supposed to be, and then the second one I think had a little bit more of a cinema, a little more cinematic feel to it with Falcon and Winter Soldier, and this one was more of. It also had more of a sort of a cinematic feel to it, but it was much more of like everything was shot on sound stages. It wasn't much going on outside too much. It was a lot of soundstage stuff, but it just looks so nice. Everything looks so perfect. You can just see, like when I look at that scene right there, I just think to myself, like, that's a Disney ride,
Right.
Like you can go in there and see those windows and all the stuff going on behind there. That just looks like a Disney ride to me. And that, like, you could just see, like, can you imagine, like, supposedly you're in that ship and you're going through the different timelines.
That's Space Mountain. That's Space Mountain right there by itself.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I honestly, I think they, when they created these scenes, I think they created these with something more in mind than just the visual for the show. Like, I would not be at all surprised if this shows up, because they're already, I think, don't they already have like Wakanda Land or something at Disneyland?
Yeah, and they're supposed to be opening, pretty much they're going to be opening every fashion of Marvel in Disneyland and Disney World. So you're going to have a Wakanda Land, all this stuff.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they simply had if they had a multiverse land and had all kinds of cool visuals like this. It would be incredible.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now Sylvie and Loki have made it to the Citadel. They're in the Citadel. And this chick pops up that y'all heard it from me. Y'all picked on me. Y'all picked on me the first episode. This chick comes to the door. And I told y'all don't trust no android. I told y'all don't trust no android. She comes there. She's basically trying to make a deal with them. Did y'all hear the shit she was promising them? She promised Loki he can go back and rule. He can get all the Infinity Stones. Promising Sylvie, recreating her childhood. She was promising everything. So I'm gonna come to you with you first, Larry. How'd you feel about this opening scene when they get in the Citadel and the visuals and everything Ms. Minutes was trying to con them on?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like it was a little too late for all that. Like they have been through so much. I mean, they've been pruned in the void and escaped the void and all the stuff they had dealt with the TVA. There was no way they were going to trust this little android or anything that came from the TVA. They weren't going to trust anything or anybody. And I mean, it was just sort of I guess it was just sort of a last ditch attempt, knowing that it wasn't going to work. I'll tell you the one thing that was sort of disappointing with me with this was that little android thing. When we first saw that, we were like, this little thing is so sickeningly cute and looks like it should just be an action figure or something that every kid is going to want. And I feel like they just didn't do a lot with it. I felt like there was a lot they could have done with that thing and popped it up, even if it was just to pop it up here and there a little bit more so that people can see it and the kids can see it. And they're like, I want one of those. How can I get one? It just seems like they really didn't do a lot with it. And I wish they would have, because they could have thrown it in there at various times and not have caused any sort of disruption where it felt like it was forced. They could have just popped it in there.
Larry, the Funko Pop is already for sale. Ms. Minutes. Funko Pop is already for sale, my brother. Already for sale. I don't know what the numbers are yet, but the Funko Pop is for sale.
Right.
So how
I think it probably could. I mean, maybe it's going to be big, but I feel like it could, whatever it is, I feel like it could be bigger.
Okay. One take. How'd you feel about the conversation between Ms. Minutes and the Lokis?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I think I'm saying I agree with Larry. I feel like Miss Minutes could have been very profitable, but then again, after this episode, I don't think anybody wants to deal with Miss Minutes. I don't know about y'all, but like I said, it was 4 in the morning when I'm watching this, and I'm kind of out of it a little bit. Miss Minutes popped up like she was straight out of a scary movie, man. Wow,
she really did, though, right?
I'm like, wait a minute, like. I'm need you to
like
chill,
a smile or something.
Exactly, it was creepy as hell. So, like her pitch was just completely wrong. She should have said something else. Because I'm like, just to Larry's point, they have gone through a lot to get to this moment. Like you should have caught them before they got pruned or just anything. And it's kind of weird that they didn't, considering they knew the path that they was going on. So that's still kind of weird to me.
Well, the thing. Go ahead. My bad. One take.
I'm sorry, good, but it was just weird that like she would like try to set them up for all of this, and it's like, there's no way we're doing that. I mean, we came too far. Like the goal is right there. Well, the goal, we've made it to our goal. We just got to walk through a couple more doors.
And the thing that I think we all would like to know, Immortus knew they was going to tell her no. Exactly. So it's kind of like, why even send her out there for what? Just you. As a matter of fact, you should have just opened up all the doors, because he said before I introduce him. I mean, talk about what he said. Let's just go ahead and get to him. So we're going to come to you on this one take. So they get past the last trial before they get to see the man behind the thing. And out pops Jonathan Majors, who we all know is going to be playing Kang. But what we didn't know was that the MCU was going to have him playing variants of Kang from all throughout the multiverses. And in this episode, he is playing Immortus. And let me read to you a quote from Immortus. He calls himself Master of Time, Gardener of Time. It's more truthful. He prunes away the coronal branches deemed by others to be dangerous, reducing reality to a bloodless meadow. Damn. Okay. But that's not the way a warrior of men, I say, let it be forest. Let it be jungle. Kang the Conqueror. That's Kang the Conqueror talking to Immortus, which is what we're getting with this particular Kang. So Kang the Conqueror said this about his version of the Immortus. And we get to see him, and he's in this elevator, and he's so powerful, he ain't even worried about what they're going to do to him behind his back. Talk a little bit about Jonathan Majors Immortus. One take as I go through some pictures.
Man, you heard me gushing over him earlier, man. I thought Jonathan Majors came through and just crushed it. Like, it's crazy to see somebody show up in the last episode and basically steal the momentum from literally every single person in the show. He came I didn't expect it. I mean, of course, you see your typical mustache twirling villains, and sometimes Marvel is not necessarily known for great villains, but this guy comes through and he just has that it factor. Like this elevator scene where you can literally Loki looks nervous, Sylvie looks pissed. This dude is eating an apple, not
eating an apple.
Okay. He's not studying y'all. So he's like, okay. Oh, she finna swing. She finna swing again. He's standing on this. I'm pretty sure he's the person who got put out of class back in school because he was causing havoc. Like Jonathan Majors destroyed it. This is.
What did he say? What did he say when she swung at him? He said, "Oh, are we doing this again?"
That's what he said.
It's like every time he spoke, it was something. I'm just like, oh man, great. He's way ahead of that.
He lit it. And Larry, before I come to you, I was telling them, you know me, Larry. You know, normally I like more action. I don't like the dialogue between people talking. Not much. To me, this was the best part of this episode. All the time they let Jonathan Majors have basically monologues. So Larry, I'm gonna have you jump on in there, man. How'd you like the introduction to Kang? Them turning him to Lord Immortus Kang, and where you think they're gonna go with it?
Yeah, it was fantastic seeing this because dude is just so amazingly talented.
He's good.
An actor. I mean, the first time I remember seeing him, I think was like the Last Black Man at San Francisco, and I was like, this dude is incredible. Yeah. And then we see him now as we saw him in Lovecraft, and now here. I mean, the dude is just amazing. I mean, his character, the way he portrayed that character was so it was so awkward and just like it felt like he was almost off his out of his mind a little bit. It really gave you the sense of like, here's this being who's been alive for what did he say? He's been alive. He's had millions of lifetimes or something. And you have to think like the human mind, the human brain is probably not designed to live millions of lifetimes, and he probably is a little crazy. And he really did play that really, really well, where he just he was funny. And then there were the times when he got really serious, where he just sort of snapped at Sylvie and was like, grow up. Just grow up.
That was great.
That was right.
It was just fantastic. It was. Man. I mean, it was a wonderful piece of acting. When you see that scene, I understand why they brought him in at the end, because now they made everybody want to see him. You know, it's sort of like how I felt like what they did with Black Panther and Civil War was like, you saw him and you're like, wait, we want all of it. We want the whole thing. Don't give us a little bit. And now we're feeling the same way. We're seeing Kang and we're like, can we just get a straight Kang movie? Forget whatever else he might show up, but can we just get a dedicated movie? You know?
I don't think they're gonna give us a dedicated Kang movie no time soon.
I don't think Marvel's ever made a villain movie, though, have they?
I mean, technically, you can call the Avengers. Technically, the headliner was Thanos. Technically, but it
was about the Avengers.
Yeah, it was.
The closest thing we have to it is not even a Marvel movie; it's a Fox movie with Venom.
Well, actually, the closest thing we have to it was Loki, because technically he was a villain at the time, but that's still a TV show still.
Right.
Yeah, right. I don't even know. Can we even call Loki a villain? I don't think he is anymore.
Not at this point.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy now for sure.
But I think Loki always thought of himself as a good guy. I think everybody else put that on him.
No, Larry, we're not gonna let you turn him into Killmonger number 2.
No. Hear me out. I'm not saying I thought of Loki as a good guy always. Okay. I know that Killmonger's always been a good guy, but I never always thought of Loki as a good guy. But I'm saying I think Loki always thought of himself as a good guy because Loki always thought of himself as being this benevolent ruler that would rule some land, like he wanted to rule Earth. And he always thought he was going to rule Earth and everybody was going to be better off as a consequence. He was going to make everyone's lives better. And I think that he was really thinking that he had the ability to actually help people to live their best lives. And
by taking their freedom, because when he
thought that was the best. And he's not the only one. I mean, you have dictators in this world who think if we just simply take away people's options, they'll be happier because they don't need to worry about all the other stuff. It's a flawed way of thinking, but I think in his mind, some way he thought he was doing what was right.
That's technically how Wolfgang was thinking, though. Jonathan Major's character was thinking. It's like, well, I kind of know what's best for you guys in a sense.
Well, the only difference is what Jonathan Majors knew was best was true. I mean, because if all the other evil Kangs was going to come and have a war that's going to destroy the timelines, you was going to get to the end of time, and then the monster's going to eat up everybody.
So let me ask you this, because because Kang said in there that all this was planned. That he said, here's the sheets. He pulled everything out. He said, I was there watching you guys when you were on Lamentus and all this. Yep. He said the whole thing was planned. So if everything was planned, is there even such a thing as a variant?
Yes.
Because it doesn't seem like they're actual variants, because a variant is someone that does something that strays off the timeline, and then they have to be pulled in so that they can either be pruned or put somewhere else. And it sounds to me like if all this was planned by Kang, they're not actually variants because they did exactly what the timeline was intending them to do.
Well, you get a small modicum of deviation that normally they're able to get there before you completely cause a branch and reset your ass. Uh-huh. However, he and Sylvie and Loki ain't the first two, if they're going by the comics, which it seems like they are to some degree. They're not the first two to have ever made it to the castle. Now, they are the first two who, it seems like, got past Ms. Minutes. And the only reason that he allowed that to happen was because he liked the way they conducted themselves in manipulating Alioth. I mean, y'all better hold on to your jock strap. Boy, it's about to get deep. So, Larry, I'm going to come to you next now. And you know I got to talk about that liquid vibranium technology that Kang was rocking. Y'all ain't know that was liquid vibranium, did you? But
that was dope.
I'm going to give you a sneak peek. That's liquid vibranium now, but I will get back to that in a minute. So, Larry, what can you say about your boy Mobius? This your boy, Larry. This your boy Mobius.
Man,
so
Mobius.
Ravonna, to put it on you, is sitting around looking at the little ring that he always leaves because he don't put a cup holder underneath his juices. And then he goes in there to confront her about the truth. And I guess he don't really realize that, hey, she know that the TVA is a fake, but she wants to see who's behind it. So he runs up on her, gets that ass beat, and I'm just like, Mobius, you want the smoke, you got to inhale it. So he gets his ass beat. He's down there laughing at his love, and then she goes through a portal. And take a look at what I put on this picture. The way she's going. Kay. That's where she's going. Larry, speak on this situation, my brother. Then we'll come to you next one, Tate.
First of all, when he pulled out that prune wand or that prune stick, whatever it was, she was like, I don't need to worry about you even when you have that. She was just like, don't play yourself. And then, but at the same time, I like his confidence when she knocked him the hell back, because she was, she had that stick out, and he was like, go ahead, do it. That's good, cool. It's like he was like, I'm not afraid of it anymore. I saw what's on the other side. I got out that bitch once. I'll get back out of it again. I mean, you can see he was like, whatever, do what you got to do, Trick. So
Larry, how can you say that about that woman that you know B. Avery loves?
Man, whatever. Whatever. She's up there. She's up there pruning people and down with trying. What did she say when they said something about what was? I think he said something about what if they're doing this, whatever it was with the timeline. She was like, well, what if they have to? It was like she was acknowledging that she knew the TVA and all this was BS, but she was like, well, I like my position. I like the power that I have here. And so what if they have to do this? It was just some BS,
Okay.
It's just like when you hear people we're going into Iraq because they have weapons of mass destruction. No, they don't. But you have the military contractors and all the military industrial complex up there talking about, well, what if they do? What if they have them? We know they don't. You want the money, you want the power. She's the same way.
One thing, let me let you get in there, but let me shout out, because we do this for you people. If you got folks that's watching and listening, we shout you out. I mean, it's birthday. Well, of course we do. So don't tread on me. Says, today is my best friend's birthday. Can you please give him a shout out? His name is Gabe Utz, like the potato chip. Gabe Utz. Happy birthday, my brother. Don't eat no Utz. Don't eat no Utz. Happy birthday. Keep rocking with the MCU, but keep rocking with us and subscribe to everybody's channel. Links is in the description.
Happy birthday, Gabe.
Happy birthday.
Fellow cancers in the house.
Talk about Ravonna put it on you and this thing she had going on with Mobius, who she knows she like him, but now her curiosity is piqued.
Yeah. See, first off, my boy Mobius don't need to be in no hand-to-hand combat. That's just not one of my boys. That's not one of my boy's strengths, okay? It's not something he's good at, okay? Well, I'm gonna be honest with y'all real quick. When he fell to the ground, he low-key had this look like, what you trying to do? Look at it, like he got that look like, what you trying to do? Man?
You trying to get under this table? You trying to get under this table and knock these coasters off?
Yes, we're about to put a branch in something, but listen.
I like dudes like Mobius. Mobius is the type of dude where he's like, I know you're gonna knock me out, but I'm still gonna swing on you. Because that's what I got to do. I know I'm getting knocked out, but I'm still gonna swing.
He here. I respect him. But I think I'm gonna have to disagree with Larry on one of these points.
Okay.
But before that, I want to talk about Mobius. Where Ravonna basically saying like, you betrayed me. We had this whole thing going. I've known you for eons. You get like a new little crew, and you basically turn on me. Mm-hmm. That leads me to my point where she's like, yo, all of this stuff had to be happening for a reason. And I understand what you said, Larry. It's like you have people who just get lost in the sauce, but that's the same thing. Like the point she's making is the same point that Kang is making to like Loki and Sylvie. It's like there is a reason this was put in place. You can't have me. She's basically telling like you can't believe that this is just done for nothing, just out of selfishness for some reason. Like I think this was done for a certain reason, and it was basically to protect the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
But does it need to be protected? I mean, if you have all these infinite worlds and people are going to battle, going to war, I mean, there's infinite amounts of worlds. You can't kill them all because by the time you kill one, there's been God knows how many that were already created.
But that's the thing. That's what it was in order before, and then once the order left, you saw that it just. We'll get to it in a minute, but like that one little line, and then it wasn't even a line anymore. Everything was blurred. But we'll get there in a minute. But I also got to talk about like Lamont basically putting me on game, her going to see young Kang, because I had no idea when she said she was going to find free will. I had no idea what she meant.
What? Yeah, that's what I figured she was talking about.
I had no idea what she meant.
I wasn't thinking young Kang, but I was thinking she was going to find Kang. I didn't know if it was. I didn't think of young Kang, but that makes sense. But I definitely thought she was going to find Kang.
Yeah, we thought it was
going to find free will.
See, I knew she was going looking for Kang, but in the end, when they showed, I don't even want to say it, but the end justified the means with Ravonna for me. That's how I figured that part out. That's how I figured that part out. Because someone mentioned in the comments, I said to you guys, maybe episode 3 in the comments, she became Kang's girlfriend in the comics.
Right.
You can cool believe they're gonna play that out. Her and Jonathan Major together. Oh, that's why she's going to get some of that young Kang right now. I can just go ahead. And tell you that's gonna happen. You might well put your jock straps on, ladies. Put on your sports bra so things ain't bouncing all over the place. Because the MCU's about to spin you around real quick. But
now, what's Mobius gonna do? Because if Mobius is feeling her and he can't fight, he's got to figure out something else.
He got to get him a jet ski.
Snatch his girl without a fight.
Get a jet ski and take his mind off of it. That's it.
Look, get the jet skis.
He's just gonna go get a Sea-Doo and be done with it, huh?
Get the jet skis, baby. Get the jet skis. All right, one take. I'm gonna come to you, and I think you enjoyed this scene, so we'll just piggyback from Mobius. He had the blue pen, all right. And they finally cleared up the blue pen and Ravonna's origin. And so B-15 and them go back to Ohio to get Ravonna as a principal. And you had a really, really good hot take about you would not want to be one of her students in her school. But the confusion right here was B-15 hasn't explained to the other hunters what's going on, and she's trying to do that right now. And he realizes that this Ravonna don't know who the hell he is. And that's when it all starts to break down. Jump on in there one take.
Yeah, because I think early in the season we were talking about it. We was like, why are the other Minutemen still working with Ravonna? We thought it might have been like a tight-knit group that was always in on it, but that wasn't the case. I guess when Mobius was basically telling them about what was going on, they didn't believe it, so they needed to see proof. So obviously B-15, who was a definite liability, which I didn't understand why Ravonna kept her around. Nonetheless, it came to backfire eventually. But she goes to Freeman, Ohio, 2018. We did not see that coming. We didn't know where Ravonna had been plucked from. We thought she might have been like I had the theory like she might have been plucked from like a bad home or something. So she ended up getting like power within the TVA, but she didn't want to go back. But she's technically had power back then. Like she was a principal. Granted, she seemed to be mean as hell. Like you did not want to go to the office with her. Like bro, she's still paddling kids or whatever. But like when once Hunter, I think is it B90 or C9, whatever his name is, he shows up and I think he calling her Judge Renslayer. It's like, no, that's not who that is. And it's like that. I kind of wish we would have got to see more of like what the other hunters were like. It was like, dude, you know, Judge Renslayer used to be a principal. Hey, bro,
right?
Everything we know is a lie. And like that was great. That scene was great. Yeah. Like opened everything up. I answered a lot of questions as well.
It did. I'm coming to you, Larry, but I want to just highlight something for one take. We all by now know that Loki's getting a season 2 if you watch the mid credits.
Mm-hmm.
Everything one take just said, you know it's going to be in season 2 because they can give storylines to about 5 of these hunters. They can give storylines on the backstory to Mobius because he, from their polling, he was the number 2 favorite character in this whole series, Mobius. And he's definitely going to be on a Loki season 2. You can believe that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. He's going to be up there. So having said that, my brother Larry, the living legend, how'd you like the whole going back and figuring out what was up with Ravonna and the connection with the blue pen?
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant of B-15 to take her back because to take the other hunters back, because if she just tried to explain it to him, they probably wouldn't have believed it, you know? Or even if they did believe it, they might have had some doubts about stuff, but to actually see it and experience it just at that moment, there's no more denying it. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they're going to be forced to reckon with what they saw and what they experienced. I thought that was just brilliant. So I was loving that. It is interesting that she went from one position of power to another. And I think maybe that's just what they do. Maybe that's just what Kang did, was just found people and moved them from basically from one place wherever they were before to the same sort of parallel in the TVA. So I'm kind of curious to know what Casey was doing before him, and how come we didn't get more of him?
Well, doesn't that make you want to know, if she's a principal, what the hell was her Nexus event?
Probably sprayed the wrong kid.
I mean, you know,
Loki gave
she expelled the wrong student.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, once one of your B variants goes crazy in the multiverse, maybe they are forced to snatch up all y'all. Do you think about that? Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all something that's going to happen. It might not happen in the next 5 years, but it's going to happen. In order to completely eradicate a variant from a timeline, each one of the variants from every multiverse has to die pretty much simultaneously. That's how you end their story arcs. That's going to happen, but we ain't got there yet. But I thought I'd just let y'all sit on that for a little while.
That seems like a damn near impossibility.
Not when you got the quantum zone, not when you got Kang having the technology to set it all up and align the timelines. You know, it ain't impossible. That's all I'm saying. And we about to get to what Kang said about how we'll get to his origin story, and I'll finish off what I'm saying then. All right. I'm be coming to you now. Let's see. That was one take. This is gonna be for you, Big Larry. Well, hell, we the Kang's origin story right now. Now, Larry, I really enjoyed his origin story. He even basically talked about how Nathaniel Richards, which is Kang's real name and the first of the Kangs, was able to find a way to manipulate the time and space-eating monster so that he could save all the multiverses. But before he went into that diatribe, he just talked a little bit about how there was all these other Kangs, and he's not the scariest. He's afraid of himself, another version of himself, and how they figured out something that Iron Man, the Hulk, and some of the other smartest brains, Reed Richards, couldn't figure out. That all these multiverses stack on each other, and in order to prevent these Kangs, who all had narcissism, loved each other, they shared technology, then some of them went the nuts and decided that they was going to be rulers. Larry, talk about the whole backstory that they did for this brother in this episode.
Yeah, this was really dope. The way they just used these little figures. I guess I didn't realize this was liquid vibranium, but damn, can I get some of that?
Liquid.
Can I get some of that?
Like the liquid Terminator. This is liquid vibranium.
Can you imagine? You could just basically say, you know what? I need to go over I need to go get some croissants from Paris and just create you a little jet and fly over there and then stick it in your pocket. You know?
That would be how much it's worth. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. My Lord, have mercy. Man, if you had that kind of technology right now, the government would come at your door and lock your ass up.
They would.
And take it. They would. But go ahead, Larry.
But yeah, I would. I mean, the story was fantastic how they told it, and you know his reasonings behind it. It's always one of those things where it sounds good, but you know it's not all kosher and as clean as they're making it out to be. You know, it was sort of like, oh, everything was in disarray, and we had crazy versions that were out there killing everything, and everybody went to war with each other. It's like, yeah, I feel you. They probably did go to war with each other, but it wasn't as like your intentions aren't as pure as you're making them out to be. But one thing I'm curious about is that Alioth that eats matter and time and space and all that. Energy never gets destroyed. It just gets stored in a different place or a different way or sent somewhere else. So I'm kind of wondering if this Alioth has all this energy in him.
Of course he does. And one thing, of course he's got it all in him. But one thing that I've been waiting for somebody in the comments or some of my other geeks to mention today that I haven't heard. I haven't heard this, so y'all getting a hot take from me personally. he used Alioth to end the destruction of the multiverses because Alioth was created by these multiverses diverging and splitting apart, right?
Right.
If he's able to manipulate Alioth, how the hell is it that Alioth is stuck in the void? If Alioth eats time and space, how the hell did he get stuck in the void?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know how, but I'm gonna say I'm gonna start making my Marvel videos next week. I'm back in this thing.
This man.
I'm back in this thing, baby. I'm 100. I'm 100 in it now. I'm gonna start making them.
Man, what kind of? He just gonna dangle it in front of everybody.
I know, right?
Come back later.
Okay. I'll tell you now. Well, Kang already told you. He's manipulating. Kang himself is manipulating time and space. So every time Alioth thinks that he's outside the void, he's really not. Simple as that. That's how he's been able to manipulate Alioth. Alioth thinks that it's outside in space, eating stuff.
So he's essentially in a loop?
Yes, you got it, Larry. He's essentially got him in a loop, stuck in the void. Exactly.
Okay.
All right, jump on in that one take. Pick up on where you want to pick up on with all this beautiful technology, the origin story. Talk about all that.
Can I, before we move on, can I just mention one thing? That it seems to me like as easy as the Lokis were able to control Alioth or enchant him, it seems like even though he may have the ability to eat all this time and space and energy and matter, it seems like he might still be fairly weak and easily manipulated. And it shouldn't take, because I mean, female Loki is strong, but she's not that strong.
She ain't no Scarlet Witch, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it seems like it wouldn't be that hard of a task for somebody to actually get a hold of the Alioth and just take all of its power, absorb all of its power. I mean, you have all this matter from just all kinds of multiverses. Like they were saying, that's how they ended it. They were just sending all these multiverses to the void, and this thing was just eating it up. They were just eating it. It was just eating all this matter and all that matter and energy stored up somewhere, just waiting for someone to take it.
They probably going to put that in the storyline, 100%.
And I want to see, and since we've been talking about Loki, the god of chaos, I want to see Loki hook up with the Scarlet Witch because she's about chaos magic, and he's the god of chaos. I want to see chaos on chaos.
He's the god of mischief. He's the god of mischief, not chaos, man. The god of mischief.
That's what they said. They said chaos in there too.
Mischief.
I hear you, mischief, but they also say chaos in the show. So if they're calling him the god of chaos, I want to see him with some chaos magic witch too. I want to see the two of them hook up and get some serious chaos loving going.
Bruh, don't you know?
Wanda and Loki.
Get him under control, man.
Yeah, man. Scarlet Witch. Larry, don't you know the Scarlet Witch does not have sex with whole humans? If you ain't
he's Asgardian.
She would have sex with Ms. Minutes before she have sex with Loki.
Loki's not human. He's Asgardian.
She don't do that, man. She mess with androids. You gotta be part android. Ain't nothing android about Loki. Nothing.
When are we gonna see that? When are we gonna see that big serpent thing Loki created?
Oh, you seen it on Asgard already?
Did we?
They showed a clip of it.
I must have missed it. All right.
Okay.
Jump on in there.
Yeah, I thought this was great. I thought this was just as well of an explanation as the Miss Minutes one we got earlier. I think in episode 1 with like the cartoon, because it's pretty much simple in it, whether you know the comics or not. They just pretty much like lay it down straightforward for you. And like I said, the liquid vibranium is a nice touch. I don't know what he doing. I mean, I probably would have just retired and just told them to do what they want to do. I would have sold that liquid vibranium for a couple $1 billion and been chilling. You know what I'm saying? That just be because I don't understand what it is when people just like sitting, want to be in places by themselves. I just don't understand. Okay, I'm trying to get out and see some people. But I did enjoy that. And like I was wondering about the Alliance thing too, because I remember us talking about it like the past few weeks. Well, actually, last week and this week. But I lost my train of thought. Oh man, what was that? Alliance. Oh, okay, yeah. How he was able to take down the other Kangs and like separate his one timeline from the other ones. Considering he was able to do this, I just you have to wonder just how bad the other ones are, and he kind of was lucky that he was the one who was able to control Alliance, because there's no telling what the situation would look like if one of those more evil Kangs had been able to get control of Alliance first.
And I'm about wondering, was it simply just that he found Alliance before the rest of them did? You know, that's what I'm wondering. Was it was Alliance? Did he encounter Alliance in his multiverse before the rest of them encounter an Alliance in their multiverse? But the problem that they set up is Alliance came from the fracturing of all the multiverses. Yeah. So I think this is a being that's in this MCU that's not going to have a variant in every multiverse. This is what you see with this one, is what you get.
Do you think that the Alliance took out a couple of variants of Kang? Because
if it destroyed the multiverse, it had to.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
It had to. Now the problem is you didn't kill them all at the same time. You left some of them still alive. That's the problem. And you'd be done with all the Kangs if you would have done that. And having said that, Larry, I'm coming back your way, Larry. So
I was gonna say, I think that this Kang might be the smartest one out of all of them, and maybe that's why he was able to get control of the Alliance. Because as he explained it, it seemed like the various Kangs were, they were not all built equally. As he said, they came together, they shared knowledge, and apparently there were some of them that were about like their warrior status and wanted to go to war and fight and do whatever else. And there are other ones that were all about their science and whatnot. So I think he might have just been the smartest one out of all of them. And that's how he was able to go ahead and survive.
Oh, 100%. He's the smartest, and from what I'm reading, the oldest. Smartest and the oldest. Okay. And y'all know he's related to Reed Richards, because his name is Nathaniel Richards. So they've got a relationship. And it just makes me think about some of the
That's
art.
dope.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro. Kobe James, this is kind of a question for you, Larry. You would know a little bit more about this than me. What do you think they spent on the budget for this episode? How many stacks, Larry?
Oh, I'm gonna say probably about 4, maybe 5 million.
What, on one episode?
Yeah, a lot of TV episodes cost anywhere between like $2.5 million on an average TV episode. But something like this with a lot of special effects, I would, plus you have all the salaries of the actors that you have to consider too. So I'm going to say this episode was probably about 4, maybe 5 because of all the special effects. But I'm going to say probably about 4 million.
One take, how much you think they spent on making this episode?
Man, watch me be ignorant and say about 10 or 15. Just because these Marvel shows, you remember they have like the budgets of like movies, like the budgets for these be like upwards of 120 to 150 million. So, and they're only 6 episodes, so they're emptying out the bank. I'm saying, I think you said like those actors,
they are getting paid.
They getting paid, bro. Yeah. I mean, like the new thing for an actor, you want to be in the MCU. That's it. That's your meal ticket. If you can somehow aspire to be in the MCU, you writing on ticket there, man. Whew. Larry, I'm coming to you now, my brother. So Loki and Sylvie about to have a little fight. This was my opening clip. This is when your boy goes babyface. He's a good guy now, and he jumps in front of the knife. Sylvie's about to cut Kang. He jumps in front of the knife, steals a kiss, and then she boots his ass into somewhere in the multiverse. And that minute that he booted her, was also the scene right after Ravonna put it on you, went somewhere looking for younger Kang, and this is what happened next, Larry.
Yeah.
Break it all down, my brother Larry. I didn't set you up nice. I threw you the lob.
Yeah, I think that I think in this one here, well, first of all, I have to shout out to the Loki love, I've been feeling the Loki love for a while there. I think that this whole thing played out. Like he tried to make it seem, I think Kang tried to make it seem like, oh, I don't know what's happening. I knew what was happening to about, what did he say? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds ago. But now I'm just not sure what's going on. I think he still knew what was going on. I think because he told them he wanted those two to take over for him and run, manage the timeline, run the TVA and all that. And I think that what he wanted to happen, I think he saw what was going to happen, and it happened exactly as he planned it and as he played it out to happen. Because you have Sylvie who killed him, and now what's she gonna do? She's gonna. I mean, what's she gonna do? She has to do something. She's already there at the Citadel. I think she's gonna run her part from the Citadel. Loki just Loki just got booted back to the TVA, and he's back in the TVA with all kinds of knowledge that the rest of the people don't know, and they're up there wondering, who are you? What are you doing? Who are you? And so I think you have, and he already mentioned, he said something to the effect of, you guys could go back and tell all the agents what happened and let them know what's going on and explain to them why it's happening. So I think that's what Loki's going to do. He's going back. He's going to explain to them all what's going on and what's happening and why. And he's going to run the TVA from the TVA side. And Sylvie's going to run the timeline from the Citadel side. And it's going to go exactly like how Kang wanted it. Those two managing the timelines.
That's all. Hey, that's a good theory. One take what you think about it. Shout out to Buzz, who sent me a super chat via Cash App. You can send it on Cash App if you want
703.
To. Appreciate it. How'd you feel about the Loki love, the fight, and ultimately she getting her hands in that knife through Kang?
Listen, man, we knew the Loki love was coming. I think there was a couple of people on your live last week and on Behavior's live, just like there was nothing there. It was always there. You see all those two looked at each other. That kiss was coming, okay? We don't know. She kind of soured it a little bit when you push my boy through the door. But this neither here nor there. Maybe
it's like she used him. She got that kiss from him. Then she kicked him out. That's usually what the men do.
Exactly. I think the kiss was real. I think the kiss was real, but
she saw opportunity.
I think she used it. Yeah, she just used the opportunity.
Oh, man, that hurts.
That's even worse.
I don't make it hurt no less, Larry.
Yeah,
I think she might have done it to save him, because if she didn't, and then if she had killed Kang and there was just the two of them, she might have been thinking, we're going to have to fight for this throne because neither one of us is going to want to we're not going to want to share it. We're not going to be able to trust each other.
Larry, she don't want the throne. She just want Kang dead. She doesn't have any plans.
Then what? What's she going to do? She needs something to do.
She's probably going to go back. Yep, she's just going to chill. Or she's going to go back to her original timeline. She's going to take that look.
Which is probably a mess. She's the new Kang. Which is probably
she's the new Kang. She's going to be the new timekeeper.
No way.
Especially not with things left off, because things obviously got crazy after the kiss, and once again, Jonathan Majors got to get a shout out to this guy because he was so ready for death. He's like, oh, you're not gonna beg for your life. You're like, I could. It's just like he was great, man. I'm gonna be talking about this dude for the next few weeks, okay?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say? I'll see you in a little while or something.
And then he winked at her, like, just terrific. We get a look at this timeline, and we was worried about one line. The sacred timeline is even squiggly. Branches got branches. They way past the red line. Now we are in total chaos. We are in panic mode, and we're gonna leave it right there because we're about to get to the end.
Yes, we are. And guess what? One take, you get to lead off on the end one. This is your lead, my brother. So Sylvie done killed Kang, this version of Kang anyway. Oh, our boy Loki arrives at the TVA thinking he's going to be the savior that he know he can be. And when he gets here, Mobius and B-15 don't know who the hell he is. Matter of fact, did y'all see Mobius calling for reinforcements to get Loki when he had his back turned and he was looking at this big reveal of Kang the Conqueror? This is Kang the Conqueror. This is Kang's full outfit. This is the Conqueror. We know it's Kang. So one take, dive on in there any way you want to.
Man, Loki, first of all, Loki looks panicked the entire time. He's running around the TVA, and he finally gets to two people he know that know everything, that know the truth, and he gets to talking to them. And the moment, like, Mobius tells, like, I think this like kind of like heartbreaking for fans everywhere just because of the relationship these two have built. He's like, oh, don't you work in analytics? What's your name? Like, and like that lets you know Silver made a mistake. Like a mistake was made, regardless of how we look at it, a mistake was made because like nothing, like it's essentially we knew that these three knew everything that was going on, and they knew they was gonna spread it, gonna tell everybody in the TV what is what. Loki comes back to a world, a reality that he doesn't even recognize. So, and what, like you just pointed out, Lamar, Mobius is calling people over. So Loki's gonna have to get out of that situation. He's looking over. This like literally was in like 5 minutes. Mobius forget him, B-15 forgets him. They don't know who he is, and Kang has pretty much conquered the TVA. So what do you do in that situation? It's straight panic mode because at one point Loki was the man with all the knowledge. He knew everything. He had the keys to freeing everyone in the TVA. Now he don't even know what's going on. He's just as lost as he was. And I thought something else was kind of interesting when we first get there, when we was talking to B-15 and Mobius. They were just like, well, we had this one branch that had 63 branches. Do you want us to stop them? I'm pretty sure instead of like when the quote unquote timekeepers were running things, Kang is like giving the orders directly to people, let him know what he wants done. And so that right there just makes it a lot more difficult to like combat what is going on.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bruh. It's a multiverse of madness. That's why he's gonna be in Doctor Strange, because I mean, I'm with you, man. Larry, like one take said, the look of frustration. We haven't seen Loki look that concerned since Thanos picked him up and was choking him. That's the look Loki had on his face when he ran up on B-15 and Moby. He was that concerned. And I kept referencing on B. Avery's channel. Loki was so scared. You hadn't seen him like that since Thanos. And now he turns around and Larry, he's looking up at this. Jump on in there, Larry.
Yeah, he did. He ran up. He was like, and he sounded like a kid who just like was running home to tell his parents saw all this something. He was like, and there's this guy, and he's terrifying, and he knows everything and everyone, and he was just in full blown freak out mode, and they were like, "Who are you?" You know?
and then Larry, they was doing this. Larry, they was like, let me get the
you know,
security.
You know, man. I felt, to be honest with you, in that moment, I felt bad for Loki because I'm like, Loki's always been like pushed to the edge and shoved aside by people. He's never really been able to, like, with the exception of sort of Thor, he's never really had anybody.
But you know something, Larry? That remember when we were talking? I think it was last episode. So Loki always, even not last episode. I think it might have been episode 4. It's like a Loki always ends up alone, and that is exactly, he's alone in that place again.
That's why I was like, man, Sylvie thought, I was thinking, he must have been thinking too, like, I'm not gonna leave myself. He's another Loki. I'm gonna at least be able to be with myself. Nah, Loki kicked him through, sent him back to the TVA. Now his man's in them. He thought, we thought we were going to see Loki and Mobius chilling on a jet ski, getting some beers and talking to some women over on the river or something. And dude is like, "Who are you?" You know.
And the sad thing is, because of what Sylvie did, she, as a variant of Loki, is alone now too. Because of the sacrifice of OG Loki, Kid Loki. Well, no, Kid Loki got Alligator Loki, so they ain't quite alone. But I mean, it was a group of them. You reduced that group. So and guess who was the number 4 most loved person on the series? OG Loki in one episode. So you know he's coming back. He's coming back. Alligator Loki's coming back, and I'm hearing they're gonna let him talk. And something I mentioned last week. I said it'd be great if they had Alligator Loki meet up with Frog Thor, meet up with Rocket Raccoon. I done read somewhere on the interwebs they might make that happen. Oh boy!
Wow!
Oh boy! Oh,
that would be crazy.
Can you imagine the dialogue of Rocket Raccoon talking to an alligator?
That would be straight crazy.
That's gonna be nuts, man. Let's finish this thing off, fellas. So they always show you something new in the credit scene. So we've been trying to figure out who's taking these pictures, who's looking at them. Look at that little hand down there in the corner. That's a black person's hand. That's Kangs' hand. Y'all see that thumb down there on the bottom?
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
That's who been looking at these pictures the whole time.
Man.
Yeah, man.
Detective Lamont.
Hey,
you know?
Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. When you give me time, my daughter's in school and my wife is gone, and I'm sitting here and I got the whole surround sound of myself, nothing else in this house, and I got at least an hour and a half, I can break some shit down. But
Lamar be going through those the whole show frame by frame, picking out gems.
Nah, man, it's like when you watch Marvel. When you're a comic nerd, you know Marvel is always putting something in there to stroke the inner comic book reader. They're always sticking something in there. So it's just like it's second nature to be looking at this thing when you see a frame and you see it stop. That's how I do it. You see a frame and you see it stop. Just be looking outside the characters. That's how you do it. So if they're panning the camera and it stops, don't pay attention to what the characters are doing. Look around the thing and then come back, take a picture, and that's when you see shit. And then last thing that we found out was Loki gonna get a season 2. I'm gonna come to you on this one first, Larry. How you feel about season 2 and what you want to see on that season 2?
Well, somebody in the comments mentioned something there that I want to see, and I've talked about it before, and that is I want to see Howard the Duck.
And Loki?
I want to see him somewhere. Why not?
Wait a minute. You want to see Rocket Raccoon, Alligator Loki, Frog Thor, and Howard the Duck on the same screen?
I want to, yes.
I ain't mad at it. I can see it on the t-shirt. I can see it on that t-shirt Larry wearing. I can see that right now.
That would be dope.
Yeah, man.
That would be dope.
That'd be really dope.
You know,
okay, I get.
And you could throw in Groot too. I mean, dude is a tree.
Yeah.
So you know,
Groot. Yeah.
I'm Groot.
That, but you could throw in Teenage Groot. Teenage Groot is the one who made the sacrifice so that Thor can have Stormbreaker.
Right.
Hey.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. One take. What you want to see on season 2 and what you expecting?
I'm expecting season 2 to be a little bit crazier. As crazy as this one, I think I'm expecting season 2 to be a little bit crazier. And for some reason, I think I want to see some frost giants. I want to see Loki command some frost giants. Him taking over the TVA and him like having some frost giants do some of his bid.
So you think that with him, you think he's going to take over what I think he's on Earth? I think he's in 613 now. He was in 616. He done got booted out. I think he's on 613. You would like to see him controlling the frost giant. And what are they going to be doing though? Who are they going to be attacking? What is he going to do with them?
If he's still like trying to like fix stuff in the timeline, I want him like have them because we really never really get anything with them. And I want them kind of like have a role like the Skrulls and stuff like that. Like give some of them some personality and like have Loki be this. He always wanted to lead, and those are his people and who he's meant to lead. So we need to have him leading. Also, he needs some backup. My boy been taking some L's, man. So he needs some backup.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, man.
Maybe Loki can give Mobius some powers or something.
Oh.
You know,
he had to do something. Maybe he can teach him magic the way his mom taught him magic.
Right. You know, I think it was ZSB Lou was saying the cat. He wanted to see the cat from Captain Marvel and Howard the Duck and Cosmo the dog.
Wow,
you know?
the cat. I forgot about
but the
Zias
cat.
B.
Remember, it's not a cat.
Zias
It's
B.
a flurkin.
Zias B. You get it, brother. You get it. And I like the flurkin. The flurkin is tough.
The flurkin is crazy.
The flurkin is tough, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it for us, man. Whew. I mean,
wait, I still have one question. I asked it earlier in the comments on B. Avery's joint.
I'm scared.
We know that Loki can impregnate people because he has other kids. He has kids out there, but can Loki impregnate himself?
Yes.
Can Loki get with Lady Loki and have a pure blood Loki?
100%.
You know what? Let me put it to you this way: if the MCU really wants to have a weird way to bring in the Enchantress, let the Lokis have a baby and call her the Enchantress.
There we go. I like it.
There you go.
Also, I just gotta ask this question because I forgot to ask. I forgot to ask this question earlier. Since we've got 3 full seasons of the MCU or Marvel stuff, how do y'all compare these 3 to let's say the first 3 seasons, where the first season of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage?
Oh man, Lord, you would ask tough questions when it's time to go to bed, man. You got us feeling the way you felt when you was watching Miss Minutes at 2:00 in the morning.
Let me say this. Daredevil
was good. Daredevil was good. The first
Daredevil.
The first season of Daredevil was good. Don't you lie, Larry. The first season.
Okay, I'm sorry. I take that back. I was thinking of the wrong show because Daredevil was good. I was thinking of Iron Fist.
No.
Okay, yeah. That was the weakest one.
I didn't like the Danny Rand character. I think I'm still down with Iron Fist. I just didn't like the dude they cast for Danny Rand. But I have to say that I think that the Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and the Defender series were all dope.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that whole. I always call them the neighborhood Marvel crew because they're all just sort of local neighborhood, heroes. I love that whole genre of those Marvel characters. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. Are they? It feels like there was way more money put into these series than they were into the Netflix joints. I feel like if they would have made those characters. If they would have put the money they put into these shows into those, I don't even know, man. Because they were great as they were. I can only imagine how much better they would have been.
And they were gritty too, Larry.
I was just about to say that.
They was gritty, tough, especially that Luke Cage. I mean,
I don't know if Luke Cage would have been better on Disney Plus. I don't know if they would have given them the freedom to do all the stuff he did on I think that Netflix gave them more freedom to not even just Luke Cage, but Jessica Jones. Because Jessica Jones was like promiscuous and drinking and all kinds of.
Yeah,
I'm not sure Disney would have been cool with that.
And do y'all remember? Y'all remember Jessica Jones and Luke Cage got a smash session in?
Yeah,
a few times.
He put her right
man,
on
they were messing with the foundation of that apartment.
Right, right. I mean, one take, man. It's hard for me to answer that. I'll say this: of the 3 that we got to see on Disney Plus, I think the Loki series is the best of the 3, and so then it would be me trying to rank the best of this 3 versus the best of the Netflix 3. And of the Netflix ones, I gotta say Daredevil and the Defenders and Luke Cage kind of was all a tie for me. They was all kind of like a tie. And when you combine those 3 versus one Loki, I would go with those. I would be rewatching those more than I rewatch this. But I would say the Loki series stands out as the best compared to whatever you want to say was your best Netflix version.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you know what it is that these series, as good as they are, they feel like and I think they're intended this way too, is they feel like they're setups for the MCU movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it just feels like they're sort of bridging the gap. They're giving you a little bit more information about some of the characters that aren't always on the top of the list to get their shine in the movies. And they're sort of just setups to transition the stories over into the movies, where I feel like the Netflix joints were like truly standalone. They were like telling their own stories in their entirety, and they weren't designed to be, just sort of like, they weren't designed to lead into something else,
And like my man Swipe Lee and Jenna said, Punisher was good. Punisher was good too. I did like Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher was cool.
Punisher was dark. And
the season finale of season 1 with his name, Monk. Cause
I'm gonna make you work for this one.
Oh nah, come on. It's right there, man. It's right. All the cuts on his face, man. I see him. I just can't think of his name.
It went hard though. It went hard. And the guy that plays Punisher, he was also in Walking Dead. I love that guy, man.
He's good.
They need to go ahead and sign him up in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, fellas, I'll say this. At the next Disney shareholders meeting, they're talking about they want to have something with Disney that is for more adult-based content. So you can have darker material for adults on Disney Plus. I ain't saying that they're going to vote it in, but if they do, that's when you'll start getting these darker characters outside of Disney Plus. But I mean, man, I can't wait for that to happen.
I feel like you need it at this point, because you have so many people that have grown up with Disney that are like, cool, the Disney stuff.
That's for you.
Huh?
I said
that's at the end of Daredevil season 3.
Right.
I'm thinking of it's gonna bother me. This honestly bothers me. This honestly bothers me.
And then we already supposed to be getting these darker characters, Moon Knight, Blade, and they supposed to be teaming up at some point in time. And I don't know how you tell their stories without it being something that's going to scare kids before they go to sleep. You can't put that on this.
I just watched. I'm ashamed of myself, but I just watched Blade for the first time the other day.
How you like it?
It was great, wasn't it?
Man, that is what it definitely stood the test of time. Only thing you got to like the CGI. Other than that, that movie goes so hard. Jigsaw, that's his name. Oh man, I hate that I can't do it. Oh man, I feel bad.
Are we gonna get a Ghost Rider series?
Of course, we're gonna get that. He's gonna be teaming up with Moon Knight, Blade, and probably I heard Morbius is supposed to be jumping on the team too. Hell, it's gonna be like a Dark Avengers team going out hunting Dormammu's, hunting nightmares, hunting Mephisto. It's gonna be, man, that's gonna be nuts. That's gonna be nuts. But
that sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah, we out of here. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to One Take. He puts out great content. Y'all already know what Larry's all about. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know what you want us to talk about maybe next week in the MCU. And I'm going to start doing theory videos. So hit me up on IG, or you can hit up Larry on IG. You can hit up One Take. Let us know
when
what you want to see.
When did What If
come out? The latest one?
Yeah.
I think the 1st of August. I think. Yeah, I think it's the 1st of August.
And then after that goes off, we get the what's God, what
Eternals.
Eternals.
Eternals is like November.
But that's a movie, though, right?
Shang-Chi September, right?
Right, but what's the next series?
Hawkeye.
I think that's it.
Hawkeye.
Oh, Hawkeye. Is that going to be this year?
Yeah, they say it's slated for late this year. They ain't gave us a trailer or nothing yet, but I'm pretty sure it's on the way.
Man,
Okay.
it's gonna be football season by then. Hell, we're gonna have stuff to watch by then. They need to drop that bitch next month. All right, fellas, we out of here, man. Y'all be easy, love you. We'll see you on Friday.
All right.